Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Sekela. Today we are dealing with supporting the APC candidates. We are dealing with the information on the day, how to deal with the information on the day and how to process the information on the day. I know and I acknowledge that this video has been long outstanding. I do really apologize, and as you can see, I am in an unusual place of stay. I'm in a remote location. I apologize for my sound and for the image if you cannot see clearly, but I just decided to finally upload this video so that before you have your pre-release on the next coming week, at least you have something in mind of what to consider and what to do just before you can get started with your pre-release. Please take a minute and just subscribe if you have not done already so. Please refer to my previous video on how to do a sufficient research with a business canvas, because if you cannot do that, then you will struggle so much with understanding the information on the day. Okay, let's get started with the video without any waste of time. So on the information on the day, the one most important thing that you need to do is to tell yourself and actually believe that 8 hours is enough. Right, it is enough. 8 hours is very, very long. And secondly, you need to really calm down and not to be anxious about anything at all. Because once you are anxious, once you start to frustrate yourself, nothing, I promise you, you will miss on things. And when you are trying to remark or to look at your script after the marking has been done, you will ask yourself, why didn't I get these marks? Because it's basic things that you would have known had you been on your good state of mind. So it's very important to maintain a good state of mind, not to be stressed by anything. Arriving early if for future like real psycha, not just board course. If in case this is written at home, I am not really sure where are you guys writing. So in case that you are writing in a venue, arrive early, because any problems that can happen causing you to be late, those things are going to cause you unnecessary stress that will add up on the existing stress and tension and nervousness that you already have. So try to limit your frustration to a less than a minimal. In fact, if you're a person who is struggling with just panicking when you see something that you have never seen before, I myself am a panicking person, I don't want to lie. So if what I have used, there are pills on Discam store that can help you guys try to calm yourself down. They really well work. They are not treatment of anxiety, they are not treatment of stress or anything, but they just calm your nerves down. I promise you, vape will not work. You need something. If you really feel like you really can't control, your mind is up and down, you can't control what you are thinking, you are projecting things, you are starting to panic and thinking of the worst before the best begins, before you can actually see that you can tackle the questions. So you really need something. So they have an aisle of what is it called? I'm gonna show you the on the Discam website. There's an aisle of anxiety, stress, and tension. So these pills are really cheap, you guys. And I actually recommend that you start with them now before you go to in November. I'm not sure of the date of the final APC. When is it? Before you go, it's things that you need to, try them now. So there's Prozen. It's 6 inside. Just to show you guys, it supports during times time of stress and tension. And here on site it shows that it's 32 rands because this is a website. Maybe there are costs that are added to it, but when you go and buy it at Discam, I think they are under 20 rands even. So you see that they are very, very cheap drugs that you can use only on the day, right? Secondly, you need okay, I think I've used Prozen once. It was not as strong as Really Calm. So the second one that you can try is Really Calm. This one really, really works. It's amazing. Even when I went to an interview because I was looking for a job, I just took one pill and I was not nervous at all. In fact, I was just myself, as if I'm just talking to my friends or to the family, to the family or the people that I'm used to have a conversations with. So if you have attended an interview, you know how nerve-wracking the interview is. But I was not nervous at all because of Really Calm. Also, there are the cheap ones because there are 20, and there are ones that you can buy. I think it's four. I think it's 6 rands when you buy four. I'm not really sure of the prices, but they are really cheap and they do assist. But if you are a person who is struggling, or maybe you have like anxiety, you were diagnosed with anxiety by the doctor, then you would have to go to a doctor, because I am not a doctor. It's just stuff that I have tried over the counter. You need them because like I couldn't control my mind in any of the exams that I had written before, until I took it to myself to say, let me just try this, it might work. So it might work for you as well. So try those, guys, and basically try to calm yourself down. And when you receive your IOD, it usually comes with tasks at the same time. So there are two approaches that people do. They will go straight to the tasks and read one task, and then go to, because the tasks are written like you have a column with referencing the page on, excuse me, on the IOD, which task is relating to which document. So what a candidate would just go to read one question and go to that document. What I recommend is just read all of the questions, just to get be aware of what is it that they are asking, and which question you would be comfortable to start with from the IOD, because now you already understand what the industry is about, what the pre-release was about. So you actually sure of which questions is going to give you a competent mark if you were to apply yourself fully. So you can start with those. People like to start with their strong points. So just read everything so that you on the task, so that you can see which task you want to tackle first, and then go back to the IOD and take it really slowly. You are not running out of time, so that you can plan your response. Don't just dive in or into planning an answer without knowing, into answering without planning your response. You must know that what Psycha is doing, right? You must always be aware that Psycha is just testing your ability to be reflective well after you solve a problem. They are testing your thinking skills, your reasoning mind. You need to have a measured approach rather than an instant response, because when you have a measured approach, you have a plan, you know how to group components together. So critical thinking is going to, and solution planning is actually going to help you have an approach that is easy to follow and easy for the marker to give you a competent mark, rather than just diving in to answering and missing the important, very, very important things from the pre-release, from the IOD, excuse me. So you need to ask yourself as you read the pre-release, right? The IOD. I don't know why I keep confusing, or I keep using these alternatively. But you will know that I'm talking about the IOD. As you are reading your IOD, you need to ask yourself, what happened subsequently? Try to reflect on the pre-release information and bring it back to the pre-release information to say, these are the issues that were on the pre-release. This is what is emerging subsequently, and you need to identify who must do what. How has the issue emerged and why? How has the issue evolved on the IOD? And don't just try to force your solution that you have put it on the file. You need to consider the new issues. How has the issue evolved on the pre-release, and solve that exactly. Even if it's difficult, try to think on your feet. How has the issue evolved, and what are the important things to consider on the information on the day, not on the pre-release. The pre-release, you can add it as an additional information that from the pre-release, this was considered, this and that, because it's also important to engage and go back to your pre-release. So for you not to forget the information on the pre-release, you need to have the summary that I spoke about the business canvas, the whole understanding of the pre-release and the industry that I posted about on how to do your research video. So if you do that, you will be able now to link the pre-release with the information on the day. So those are the things that you need to ask yourself. You also need to ask not to forget the audience. Who are you responding to? What are you covering? Who is asking you to respond? And in what format are you responding? The language. Are these people understanding the accounting term or the auditing terminology? Do you need to tone down your technical jargon so that you can get those points of communication and the audience? Because it not only you have to be technical, but you also have to be understood by the audience that you are sending the email to, or the audience that you are currently responding to on your response on the information on the day. So when you are reading the task and you are planning your answer, you need to make sure that you respond to all aspects of the task. Make sure that you cover enough for all aspects. If you have 3 questions in a particular task, in the IOD itself, you need to make sure your answer covers all 3 aspects. For an example, in task C of 2020 final APC, you were asked about it was about the avocado, the farming in agriculture industry. That task was asking, provide Charles with the requested input. So when I go to the IOD that Charles has sent, Charles is specifically saying, I want your input on the following. Do you have concerns about the attached journal entries? So to prepare for that, you can just have a heading inside your solution, concerns, and make sure that you are not responding and adding things that are positive that are not of a concern, because that's just a waste of time, and you are wasting time typing stuff that are not going to be of any value, they can actually deduct marks, deduct the points, because you are adding irrelevant stuff that are not asked. So you need to make sure that what you are adding is consents, right? No positive, just consents. First bullet point. Second bullet point is asking you list specific source documents. You need to cover source documents, records, and reports that you believe we would have available for the external auditors to account for what we have generalized in this entry. I will ask my staff to get this ready in time for the audit. So if you did not cover any of those, like already, you are not a C. It's obvious. You are not a C if you didn't cover both of these bullet points. Already, you are not. It doesn't matter what you have covered. If you don't cover consents, if you don't cover specific source documents, records, and reports that you believe should be available before the audit, before the auditors, because they are preparing information for the auditors, if you have not covered any of those, or just covered one, you're not even a BC, because you did not answer what was required. You are an LC. So you need to make sure you cover all the bullet points. Secondly, you need to note who you are responding to and what are you covering. For an example, I was looking at the 2019. There's a task. If you go to the IOD on document 2, there are internal auditors that have designed the audit procedures on how to audit goodwill. And they have sent that information to Gideon. Gideon is the CFO. So they are using the internal auditors, right? So these internal auditors has designed the procedures on how, to audit goodwill. And Gideon is asking the candidate to respond. Give me a minute. They are required. You are, even here, there are 3 bullets inside this. You are required please prepare and send a memorandum to Henry Higgins and copy myself dealing with the following. Bullet point number 1, the continued appropriateness of the audit procedures. Bullet point number 2, additional procedures that you believe that should be performed. The third bullet is any other matters that you think we should be aware of, right? So if you don't cover all these 3, you are not a BC, you are an LC already, because you didn't cover any. For the last one, if you think that there are no other matters, write it. There are no other matters that you think that they should have, have been considered. So at least you can be a BC, because you have considered that, you have seen on the required, that you are actually required to bring in 3 things. So on the 2021 required, or the IOD, they did not say copy myself in dealing with the following, in dealing with the issues. So a CFO asked the candidate, right, to send an email to someone else, sending them a memorandum. The trick there, people did not realize that they are supposed to send an email and CC the CFO. They just sent an email to the CFO with a memorandum. Already you are responding to a wrong person, right? And that can put you to a BC, depending now, based on the discussion that they might have, how many candidates, because you are not responding to what you are required. You are required to send an email to someone else. So in the case where you are asked to send an email to someone else, the best way to do is to CC the person who is asking you to send an email. The long way to do it is to respond to the wrong person, to say, in this case, you would respond to Gideon to say, "Good day, Gideon. Thank you for your email. I will send the memorandum to Henry Higgins if he didn't ask you to copy him." You don't need to respond to Gideon because he said, "Copy myself to that email that you are sending to Henry Higgins." So as soon as he is copied, he will see that you have actually sent the email to Henry Higgins. And do not forget to actually write CC Gideon. If you did not CC Gideon on your heading on the start of the solution, you have not answered. You have addressed the communication to the incorrect person. And that takes away takes away some points from your C because you are not responding to the right person. Even if your answer is correct, you are not responding to the right person. This is like you have a business and someone is ordering stuff for you. The order is right, but you are sending it to the wrong person. Did you fulfill your contract with the person that has ordered goods? No, you have not. So it means that you are not competent because you are not responding to the right person. Those are the simple mistakes that candidates make when they are anxious because they are trying to finish. You think you are running out of time. You are not running out of time. Take things slowly. You need to process. You need to be in a calm manner to be able to process these small mistakes that candidates make. So this is how you answer. It lies in the answering. You need to calm down. You need to who are you answering? Are you covering the audience? Do the people you're responding to understand what you are saying to them? Do they have any knowledge about accounting? If they don't, then you need to tone it down for them. If they are asking you to draft a memo, show that you are drafting a memo. Attach the memo. How would you draft? You don't just draft a memo. You need to show it on the attachment when you are responding to, for example, if the CFO is asking you to draft a memo, maybe to the external risk and audit committee, you need to attach that memo in your reply and CC the person who has requested you to do the job, to ensure that they can see that the job is actually done the way it was supposed to be done. At least the instruction was followed. Because once you don't do that, I promise you, these are the little things that make people not be a C. Even if you give a good response, just because you didn't respond to the person in the format and you didn't even attach the document that you were supposed to attach, it takes away your competency from you. So now we are moving over to how to answer, when they are asking you to critically evaluate, review, or provide a constructive feedback. So usually, they would give you would have to, critically evaluate, give their response on the good and the bad, unless they say that give us the concerns that you have, like the one that I already shown. So don't dwell much, even though you are supposed to reply and covering the good things that you are happy with. Don't dwell too much on them, right? Dwell too much on things that were incorrectly accounted for. For an example, if it's an accounting question, if you are reviewing a work that was done by someone, you're not really concerned about what did they get right. You are worried about what they got wrong. You are worried about, for an example, if you're an auditor, because I'm an auditor, that the incorrect information being put on the audit file. Yes, they've done well. You can just comment them, good job on this and that. This was done appropriately because this and that is correct, and this and that is covered. Don't dwell more to explain you are correct because, and go back to the standard. The standard said no, it is correct. You don't have to provide any evidence why you believe that the statements or the calculation that is being brought to you is correct. But you need to be more technical. You need to be more bringing of the corrective measures on issues that were dealt with incorrectly. So don't waste your time. Just mention them. That's just to show that you are covering everything, that things were done correctly, and then move on to the stuff that was not dealt with correctly. That's how you can ace, critically evaluate, review, and constructive feedback on a type of a question, right? So that's how you deal with those. And always remember, if they're asking for consent, stick to consents. Don't waste your time trying to appreciate the good that was done. It's not asked. It's going to take away your competent mark, because you are just answering things that are not asked. Just because you've researched about it, it doesn't mean that it needs to be on your solution if it's not asked. So the next one is how to prepare for the twist on the IOD. So this, you have to do it during your research, during the pre-release information, where you just trying to engage with the file and having the what if scenario that I talked about on my pre-release and research video, and considering the views of the group on the things that you didn't really think about, and just try to research and think on a situation on all angles, and doing a what if analysis. The what if analysis is the one that's going to prepare you for a twist on the information, because it can be anything, right? So that's how you can actually prepare. You need to stretch your research. You need to stretch your thinking during the pre-release period, and ask yourself, what if this is asked this way? What if this information was this way? What if this trigger is about this component, right? Rather than focusing on one angle, you need to explore all angles during the pre-release period. If you did not do that, then on the information on the day, just don't panic. Just try to think on your feet. What are the basic things that you need to cover, right? Evaluate what is the benchmark. Don't try to fit the solution. Don't try to fit your research to the information on the day. Purely focus on what is given to you and think about that, and respond on what is asked about that, because there's really nothing that you can do. Even if it's on your file, maybe you did not look at it. The fact that you don't know, you are scratching your head, you are frustrated, it means that you didn't think about it. Purely focus now on the information that is being given to you. Calmly try to think about what is given to you, and just think on your feet. For an example, if I were to ask you, give me, what is the approach for you to audit the going concern? Do you need to go to file to know that? No, you don't have a file. You didn't think about the going concern of this company, but you have those generic things that, okay, the client is to prepare the going concern, assumption that they've considered in determining whether the entity is a going concern or not. They need to have the liquidity and solvency ratio for at least 12 months, right? For the next 12 months, within 12 months, that the entity, to prove that the entity is going to be, a going concern. If you are asked about valuation, for an example, to make another example, free cash flow valuation, that you need to project future cash flow. You need that you need to to exclude costs that are not relevant to the to the value, to the valuation that you need to determine. That you need to include tax. Those are the basic knowledge and embedded knowledge that you already know, technical knowledge that you already know on your head. Don't try now to fit their research. Treat it like maybe ITC for a second, and forget about the stuff on the research. think on the pre-release, how is this situation evolving? If you didn't think of it during the pre-release, consider the information on the day and forget the file. Under no circumstances should you go to the file when you are stuck. The only reason you are going to the file is you know that I've researched this, I filed it, I know where it is. If you are stuck, the file is no go zone because it is not there. I promise you, even if it's there, you did not look at it. You are just going to waste time, hours and hours on useless things, right? So you can just apply your mind on the information on the day. Try to get your BC. You'll get your Cs on other questions. Just try not to be an LC. An easiest way to be an LC is to go try fit your research where it doesn't belong. Take the issues, try to think of the solutions on the spot. Tackle it head on like that. You do not need a research. It is not there. You never considered it. You don't know. Go back to the basic principles, that even if it's something that you used to know at varsity, or it's something that you used to remember from ITC, you know something. Each and everything that you are doing in APC, okay, let me say most, it's stuff that we have dealt with before. You have the basic information and the basic knowledge about it. Don't go to the file, just solve the question there, right? And just have an approach or think about it. Or how would I do this? And just write that solution. Because you didn't do, there's nothing else that you can do. The file is not going to help you. Lastly, guys, like, the important thing that's going to help you is to calm down and, going through the information and just processing the information slowly. Reflecting, how are the issues evolving on the day? Purely focus on the information on the day and try to link them to the, to the pre-release. Under no circumstances should you ignore the information on the day. Now, you are not even LC. You are not competent. You are NC. If you are ignoring the information on the day and you are just trying to fit your research because you do not know. You are just falling back on your file because you do not know. That's the quickest way to fail, if that's what you are looking for. Guys, I wish you all the best. I do know that I'm owing another video, but it's going to be easier, that one. It won't even take 10 minutes for you to watch it. I will just try to do it quickly. I am not sure if the things that I'm going through. I wish you all the best, guys, but I'll try to upload it as soon as possible. And I wish you all the best. Subscribe. Bye.